Who's that number one guest you want to have on your eventually on this podcast?
There's a list. There's like definitely Gary Vaynerchuck, because he's actually the one I got the idea from. He did a post ages ago, probably a year ago, and was like, people need to do this, do a 2-minute podcast. You'll be able to get someone like The Rock, because then you're just asking for 3 minutes at a time. Like, for example, like me hitting you up and just like, oh, if you got 3 minutes free, jump on Zoom, let's do a podcast.
Exactly.
It always ends up turning into like 2 or 3 episodes, which is great. But it's so different going, hey, you're free to jump on for like an hour and a half podcast.
Exactly.
Especially like, I mean, just us laymen's, it's hard enough, let alone being like, hey, B or A-lister, do you have an hour and a half of your time? They're like, bro, you're not worth my time. You're like, okay.
Exactly. It's way too hard. That's why I think a fast-paced podcast, like I would watch it. That's why I was watching a lot of yours already that you went through, which is pretty cool because it keeps your attention for 2 minutes. It goes by fast. And then you're like, oh, okay, what's the next episode? You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool you're doing that.
That's cool.
I love it.
Thanks, man. Well, yeah, so Gary V, I think it's funny, it's YouTubers that actually interest me more than like A-listers. But I want to ask questions that they don't always get. So that's the trick, is like knowing how to ask them a real question that isn't just like, so what's it like being famous? You know, like something like that. Like, so I have to really think outside the box. So I don't really want to hit up people until it's like, all right, do I have a question where they're going to get the reaction of, oh.
Have you ever watched, what's his name, Nardwar? Is that what it is?
No, Nardwar.
It's like a guy who like, he'll go to a bunch of different rappers and he'll basically he will know so much about their life that they forgot even existed. And he'll ask them, like, you should look him up. It's called Nardwar. He has a little saying. He goes, doodaloo, doot, doot, doot. Like, that's a saying that he does. He's super dorky, but he asks questions that they are surprised by. Like, whoa, how do you know that about me?
Yeah,
like, I think
that's what I want.
How far he dives into he'll actually go to their hometown and ask questions around there from like people they used to grow up with. Yeah, and see like if you can find anything about them that they would be surprised about. Yeah. It's a really cool thing.
All right.
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna have to investigate him as well.
Yeah, Nardwar, man.